Hello everyone! Patch 8.3 is going to add the Vulpera and the Mechagnomes as brand new allied races to play. Level up and just go aww at them. So I had a few requests the story behind these races. Where did they come from? What do we know about them so far? Where are they going to go? That's what we're going to be talking about today, starting with the Vulpera. As their background, it's not exactly massive. Truth be told, we don't even really know where they came from. It's speculated that there might be a connection to the wild gods, the demigods of the world like Cenarius and Goblin, seeing that over 10,000 years ago, we saw the demigods unite to stand with the world against the might of the Burning Legion. And one amongst them, in the book, it was described as a tiny red fox with a sly yet gnomish visage that skirted between the legs of the giants. But again, no official origin has been given. For all we know, they could be related to the goblins, as their models are indeed based on those, as well as some other cultural habits. Vulpera, they live a nomadic life in the sands of Vol'dun, trying to turn opportunity or profit out of everything and anything that they can find. Living in Vol'dun means living a hard life. What was once a vibrant and lush jungle, the jewel of the Troll Empire, it was transformed when the Loa Sethrak sacrificed herself to defeat the ancient evil of Mithrax. The destruction caused by Discafrax, as well as their battle, it had sand swoop in and take over the land. Not many have the ability to survive here now. Trolls that are pushed into exile, they're forced to wander the endless wastes, which means, most certainly, death is waiting for them. But the Vulpera, they have their ways. Like I said, they have a keen eye and keen nose for sniffing out opportunity. The local hyenas and buzzards, they're trained to be their mounts, while the alpacas, they pull the caravans through the deserts.
Dolly and Dot are my best friends. They pull my wagon through dunes of sand. They have small teeth and they love to eat.
What is that screeching coming from your mouth?
Vol'dun is not the only place that the Vulpera show up, of course. Not all of them, they stay in this hostile land. Those of you that have done the Freehold dungeon before, you're familiar with Captain Eudora. She's such a badass pirate that they even added her to Hearthstone as part of the League of Evil. Promised riches beyond her wildest dreams in exchange for delivering Dalaran into the hands of the League. But here in World of Warcraft, she is the leader of the Bildrats, a pirate crew of not just Vulpera, but also Saurak, Hosen, Murlocs, all kinds of races. They sail the high seas in search of treasure, now under the leadership of Harlan Sweet. He's been hard at work at uniting the different pirate factions in order of Lady Ashvane. When we roll up into Freehold to take care of this threat, the Council of Captains, including Eudora, they will try to stand in our way. Each week, we can add ourselves to one of these crews, a chance to be a build threat as well. Now going back to Vol'dun, our adventures here, they make it clear that not just the land is hostile to the Vulpera, there's also faithless amongst the Sethrak. Once upon a time, the Sethrak, they lived happily together with their Loa Sethrak, even put their powers together to lock away the remains of Mithrax. But over time though, one amongst them, he became quite power hungry and figured that it would be a brand good idea to release Mithrax and conquer all of Zuldazar. A split happened, a bit of a civil war, while the Vulpera, they found themselves captured and enslaved by the Faithless. They're not exactly a warlike kind of race, so easy pickings for the Sethrak, but push the little guys too far and they will start to bite back. That's around the time where we show up in Vol'dun. We're investigating what General Yakrazet is up to. Our fly into the desert, it does not go unnoticed, as our party is blown out of the sky.
Trespassers! You will die in these dunes!
Everyone, break ranks! Make your way to safety! Get as far from these snakes as you can!
We have orders to kill this one. Let us make it suffer.
Not today, snake men. You still alive in there? Any good with that weapon of yours? I'm all out of potions, and there's a whole lot of Sethrak between me and my wagon. If you're willing to fight, I could sure use some help.
Our adventure would have ended prematurely was it not for Nisha. She is sick of the Sethrak hostility, believing that her caravan's leader Cairo, that he's far too passive. He opted to just keep their heads down and not respond to the Sethrak attacks, and look at where it got them. It's time to kill each and every one of them. We're the lucky ones that get to help out. Weapons in hand, we gather a Vulpera banner and a Sethrak skull that she proudly displays. Some explosives for the journey, and let's not forget to pick up our plans of attack, put together with very precise intel, now in the hands of Fangcaller Sraka. These plans are going to be key to their future attacks upon the Sethrak. As move escape, it takes us to our leader Cairo, who has found one of our party members that was blown out of the sky. We help the Vulpera, and in turn, they help us out. We even get a lift from the lovely Mira and her two best friends.
Dot and Dolly like it when I sing. It's soothing.
Well, it makes me want to go back to my old ways.
Fine then. Dolly and Dot are my best friends. They pull my wagon through dunes of sand.
And while Nisha might think that Cairo is too passive, the Vulpera himself, he just sees it as being cautious. It doesn't mean he won't do anything it takes to defend the Vulpera, even with his dying breath. But he would prefer just to avoid taking a breath today. This cooler mind, it helps him see that not all of the Sethrak are like the Faithless. Some, like Sethrak and Keeper Vorik, they're actively fighting against them. The enemy of our enemy is our friend, and together we disturb the Sethrak as much as we can. We burn down the slave markets. We help free those taken captive. A race against time as Keeper Kortek and General Yakrzet. They're busy trying to set Mithrax free. With Nisha and Vorik at our side, we confront Keeper Kortek at the Temple of Sir Valis.
You face the might of Korthek, the Eternal Emperor. I am the true power of the Sethrak. No, you are our failure. Sethralis sacrificed herself so we could live in peace. We will keep Mithrax's prison sealed, and I will unite our people.
Together, we do our very best to keep Mithrax imprisoned. And while we do take out Keeper Kortek, the general isn't here. He's working on the ritual, one that we are too late for to stop. After millennia, Mithrax walks the land again, setting his eyes on that final seal at the capital of the Zandalari. It must be destroyed in order to release Gahun. And of course, this is not something we're just going to let happen. All our allies that we gathered in the lands of the Zandalari, Trolls, Loa, as well as the Vulpera, they do everything that they can to stop Mithrax. But it was all for nothing. While King Rastikan was able to kill the mastermind behind all of it, kill Prophet Zul. The Prophet, he has seen the future, knew all before it was going to happen, and gladly ends it all to release his master Gahun. He would return on Uldir, as well as Mithrax and of course Gahun, great threats that the heroes of the world they took on, while the alliance with the Vulpera, it continued. Their skills are a great asset to the Horde, not just as fighters, but also to transport supplies. As the faction war of the Alliance, as it heats up, they find themselves under attack by the SI-7, something that Nisha will of course not stand for. All they were guilty of was accepting a good paying job. What makes the Alliance think that they can bully them into refusing work from people that they don't like? They're not better than the Sethrak, and we all know how Nisha deals with the Sethrak. The Alliance is put to the sword, while burning caravans are extinguished, and shackled Vulpera are released. And this small taste of the faction war, seeing the death of King Rastikan, as well as working together in Voldun, it made the choice on what faction to join rather simple for the Vulpera. Rolling up in a caravan, Orgrimmar will have to make a bit of room, but officially joining the Hordes, it might not be as easy as just showing up. That story is going to be covered in 8.3. We'll cover once the recruitment has officially released in the game.
Come a little closer. I'll tell you what the fox says.
Moving on to the Mechagnomes. Their origin is a lot more familiar, as the gnomes, they've been part of the Alliance for quite a while now. Gnomes actually originally come from Mechagnomes, not quite the Junker version that we've seen on the island. Rather, the Titan Force variation that we've seen in Northrend. Created by Titan Keeper Mimiron, they eventually got hit by the Curse of Flesh, designed to weaken them, make them more vulnerable to the corruption of the old gods, and literally give them flesh. The ones that ventured from Northrend to Uldaman, they eventually awoke to find themselves transformed into the gnomes, driven by a passion for inventions. Their genius, it provided the Alliance in the war against the First Horde, provided them with weaponry and transportation. That's the gnomes we know and love, now led by High Tinker Mechatork. But once upon a time, the gnomes had actually a ruler, going by the name of King Mechagon. Centuries ago, their last king led some of their followers in search of a mythical land of technology, leaving behind no clues as to where they were going. Over time, this legend, it faded into history. all but forgotten, but not by everyone. Despite the naysayers, explorer Kervo Cockpipe, he carried on his mission of finding his mythical lands. He's been all over the world, explored Night Elf ruins, Titan vaults, and Troll empires. With the Alliance going back to Kaltiris, he found the gnome banging away at a mysterious vault door within Tiragards, exclaiming that he was worthy. The secret is here, all his tests were correct, and despite so many voices telling him that he was chasing a dream, despite his own thoughts turning to doubts, wondering if he had wasted his last precious moments on this world, as it turns out, the gnome was right. He did find the coordinates to Mechagon, and he met with the king himself. Their culture, it developed in such a way that replacing your body parts with mechanical ones, upgrading yourself, it is seen as a prestigious thing and something that must be earned. A mindset not only confirmed by seeing their frail old cousin falling victim to the ravages of time. And while their king was once a good leader, one that envisioned a brighter future for his people and did everything in his power to help them acquire it, over time, his mindset changed. He believes that going back to their former selves, turning themselves into robots again, that is the way to go, but not everybody sees the way that he does. And when his vision became misaligned with the dreams of his people, he failed to adapt. Instead, he grew rigid, forcing his will on others. His son, Prince Erasmin, he can see that what his father is doing is not the right thing. He tries to convince Kervo to leave this place as quickly as he can, to warn the world of his father's ultimate plans. The device he's working on to remove the curse of flesh from all gnomes, humans, dwarves, everybody on the world, and none is going to be offered a choice. But to Kervo, finding Mechagon is a lifelong dream come true. His life's work is complete, and he decides to ignore the prince's warning and instead warns the king. Now aware that his son is plotting against him, he decides to reward Kervo with an instant complete transformation. The device is turned on with the lowest setting, and Kervo is transformed. Mortality will no longer be a problem for the gnome, yet the transformation, it's not perfect yet. He ends up with brain damage. There isn't a whole lot left of the gnome that he used to be. They'll have to make the necessary adjustments for the future. While Kervo, he got what he wanted, and he now has all the time in the world to enjoy it. And where one gnome finds his way to Mechagon, others soon follow. Think Master Overspark on the Alliance side, and Gaslow for the Horde. They've got wind of a mysterious vault that's been discovered in Tiragards. It's the first step to discovering King Mechagon's true fate, and heroes of the Alliance and the Horde, they're asked to help out. Together, we enter the vault, but not all are welcome to come to Mechagon, as our expedition soon learns the hard way.
Brothers and sisters of humanity, for generations, the curse of flesh has condemned us to obsolescence. But no more. At long last, the perfection of our original Titan Forge design will be restored. All who are worthy shall join me in Mechagon and be cleansed of the old god's corruption. Step forth and be judged in the eyes of invention. Together, we will reclaim our true legacy. Incompatible presence detected. Unworthy subjects will be neutralized.
Unworthy? I hand-picked these technologists myself! They're the best and the brightest! This can't be right! It's malfunctioning!
Amazing! The expedition has been saved by the Tinkmaster's technological expertise.
Oh, most perplexing. I couldn't find a fail-safe protocol. Thank you, Gila. And now, with the coordinates in hand, our next stop is Mechagon!
A communication device with tri-dimensional coordinates. It's picked up in the vault to show us the way to Mechagon, and perhaps even meet with the king. The Horde goes into the vault as well, and they quickly follow after. Upon arriving on the island, we immediately see the war that's going on. Prince Erasmin, he's leading the Rustbolt resistance against his father, trying to build up their base and push further into Mechagon. He does not agree with their king's plans. Upgrading yourself, it's every gnome's given right, but it should be a choice and not mandatory. What his father plans to do, it's simply not the right way. Chromie even shows us a possible future in which we failed to stop the king. In this reality, he activated the mech originator. There was a large blast, fire and panic everywhere. Most of them, they were okay, but those without mechanization, they were not so lucky. It didn't even set out to do what it was made for. It didn't even reverse the curse of flesh. It appears that the king's machine, as shown in the comic, it's still faulty. Instead, it ignited the skies and burned the flesh of most every living thing. Even the prince has been converted to his father's side. Not a future that we want to end up in. So Gaslow and Overspark, they put aside the differences for the moment, and they cooperate with the Rustbolt resistance. For this, we slay many rares. We gather a whole bunch of scrap, punch cards and figurines, create magnificent inventions that allow us to overcome the threats, and make our way into Mechagon itself. This scrapyard is nothing compared to the beauty of the city within. That is, of course, if you like a metal garden, but still, one hell of a dungeon to explore, until we come face to face with King Mechagon himself.
So, my misguided son returns. I'm impressed you made it this far.
You are no longer my father. Just a malfunctioning machine that must be shut down.
Poor child. If only you could accept the truth. The curse of flesh has run rampant across Azeroth, and I will replace it with mechanical purity.
The king has some mighty powerful inventions at his disposal, but nothing is going to stop us from overthrowing this tyrant and liberating the Mechagnomes. After years in isolation, tirelessly enhancing their bodies and minds, they've come to realize that balance is the key to happiness. Don't get them wrong, improving yourself is still important, but not at the cost of losing your individuality. Soon, it shall be time for the Mechagnomes of Mechagon to leave their city and rejoin their gnomish cousins in the Alliance. But, like the Vulpera, how that goes down will be shown in 8.3.
Don't worry about wear and tear. I always keep some spare parts around.
Once it's all out, I'll be sure to upload it here. This, however, does bring us to the end of the story of the Vulpera and the Mechagnomes. Time's going to tell us what their adventures in the factions are going to bring. As always, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!